Hola, hola, buenas tardes, buenas noches, queridos amigos, compañeros. Bienvenidos a la conferencia de prensa de Duna Parte 2. And I'm gonna switch in English for our Brazilian colleagues and our special guests. It is an honor to be here with you, my dear colleagues from America Latina, for this press conference. I gotta say, this movie is an epic event of art and love that happens once in a lifetime. But before we welcome our special guests, I have a few friendly reminders for all of you. Remember, no cell phones at all. Remember to return your press badge, the one that you have in your necks when the press conference is over. And remember that the embargo lifts at the first minute of February 6th. So in a couple of hours, feel free to post and to share with everybody what happened here. So now enjoy and work and also enjoy. So we're ready. Let's give a warm welcoming to the director of this breathtaking film, Denis Villeneuve. Un aplauso. And also the amazing cast, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, Florence Pugh, and Austin Butler.
That's very sticky. Can you sit with that? Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Welcome to Mexico. Are you excited about starting the tour here in Mexico City?
Yes.
We are absolutely delighted and very happy. And yes, finally, we will be able to share
Yes.
the movie with the world. And for the first time, it will be in Mexico. And that's an honor and a privilege for us, isn't it?
Un aplauso para nuestros invitados en lo que calentamos motores. Thank you guys for being here. It is an honor for me to be here talking to you. It is an amazing film. We got the chance to watch it earlier, so we are very excited to start talking to you. But I would love to start with the director, Denis. You're the master of storytelling, and it's amazing how you explore deep meanings about love, time, and humanity. But talking about Dune Part 2, how did you manage to outdid yourself? I mean, when we watched the first movie, we thought we were witnessing the epic cinematic event, but now you surprised us with this mind-blowing and breathtaking film.
You're very generous. Thank you. I will say it's when we were all doing part one, we knew that. Is there? Do we need to translate, or I can speak straight?
You can speak straight.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, but thank you. So I knew that the first part will be an introduction to a world, and that introduction will be like a kind of an appetizer. And I said that as we were doing the press for part one, and I regret it because to say that a movie of that scale and budget is just an appetizer, I was afraid of the studio reaction, but it was true. And for me, part two is the main course. It's really, frankly, I'm afraid to say, but I think it's the movie I was born to do. It's a movie that where I put absolutely every inch, every second of this movie is coming out of me, and voila. So it's like a movie. It's a movie that I wanted more muscular, more with more action. It's where Paul finally becomes a man, and this makes big decision in order to really avenge his father and follow his destiny, and maybe create chaos, or what is the right path. It's a tragedy, and yeah, voilà.
Well, I gotta say, as I well mentioned, it is a cinematic event. I mean it. And my colleagues had a couple of questions for you guys too. But let's warm up with a question for Timothy, Zendaya, Josh. How does it feel back?
Not Josh. everybody can answer, but please.
No.
Everything are under control right now. Yeah. All right, now we can do it.
Let's start with you. Yeah. Hi.
We have to choose our battles.
We love you, Josh. We love you. But guys,
I
how
love
does it
you
feel?
too.
Te queremos mucho. It's we love you in Spanish. So, guys, how does it feel to be back in this amazing cinematic experience? I don't know who wants to answer first. Maybe Timothy?
Well, for me, it's a dream come true. As Denise said, I feel like the first film was sort of laying the foundation for this film. I'm hugely proud to be up here. These are all people I admire deeply, genuinely. So I'm just enjoying every moment of this. This is, I'll be lucky, and I hope to be in more great movies, but I'll be lucky to be in a movie, this good ever again. And
it's amazing you started in Mexico City.
I'm very happy to be in Mexico City, and thank you for having us. Yeah. Honored to launch this here.
Zendaya?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say. It's the same feeling. I feel so incredibly grateful. It's something so special, and you really feel like you're a part of something that means something to a lot of people. Obviously, the book means something to a lot of people, and there's such a legacy there. And I feel, just incredibly honored to be a part of something that means so much to Denis as well. And you can feel that heart and that joy every day we were on set. So yeah, just being here, being with all of you guys are so nice. and loving, and the energy is really beautiful. So yeah, I'm just, it's a dream for sure.
Welcome to Mexico too.
Thank
Zendaya.
you.
And Josh, are you excited of being back?
Oh, you want me to speak?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I would love to hear you.
Honestly, in all seriousness, I think the only inaccuracy that Denise said is that he is born to do every movie that he's done. He's just getting better. It's just true. The talent is growing, and he challenges himself. And there's very few. Stop! Don't talk. I'm talking. There's very few directors that continue to challenge themselves, especially with the growth of their celebrity. And I've never seen somebody go so deep with their work, and it's wonderful, because Sicario was a masterpiece in itself. Dune 1 was a masterpiece in itself. Something happened here. I don't know what, but I think everybody feels it, so it's wonderful. It's nice to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. Let's give them an applause for this perfect warm-up. And I will start with questions from my colleague, Minerva Rueda from Filmophilia, has a question for Timothy. Could you please elaborate on the evolution of your character from the first film to this one? What differences did you find in Paul in Dune Part 2?
Well, I feel like at the beginning of the first movie, Paul's literally behind walls and sort of has a royal background, and I think is virtuous in some way, but hasn't been tested at all. He's literally the son of a duke. Obviously, personal tragedy befalls him over the course of the first movie. He finds himself on the run at the end of the first movie. Without giving too much away, even though everyone here saw the movie today, right? So spoilers have happened. But I think by the end of this film, we see someone who's not only stepped into his manhood, into his adulthood, but is almost accepting a leadership position that he's very reluctant to. Is sort of wanting to embark on a different path with Chani, where he'd be taken as he was, and instead destiny calls him, and he can't refuse his destiny.
Amazing, thank you, Timothy. And Zendaya, sorry for my bad pronunciation.
It's okay.
I'm Mexican.
She's used to it. I'm French Canadian.
Well, Paola Ortiz from Estilo DF, we can finally know more about your character in this movie. What do you like the most about playing Chani?
Oh, that's a big question. I would say, what do I like most about playing Chani? I think what I really appreciate that Denis brought forward with Chani in this iteration, I think, is really giving her strong convictions and a real strong sense of self. And I think for me, that was enjoyable as an actress because it made the whole love story much harder. and more difficult, which means we had to earn it. And their love isn't given. It's something that they, they have to work for. And she comes into it extremely guarded with a lot of pain surrounding what Paul really represents in her life. And so I think for me, it was exciting because I was like, oh, there's this internal, constant dialogue I think she's having with herself over whether or not she should allow this person in, and whether or not it is safe to love. And I don't know. So the love story was interesting to find with someone who is so intensely fierce and strong and guarded for good reason.
Amazing. We love Chani in this movie. And we have two special guests too. Two new characters that are here today, Florence and Austin. And we have a question from Lucy Duran, de Mujer Ejecutiva. So guys, how did you come to the project, and how was it to join this amazing cast? Ladies first.
I came to the project after the first movie came out, obviously. I think we have a very unique position, which is that we got to fall in love with the movie as everybody else did, as the world did. We got to see not only just how incredible the story was and these characters were and this world was, but we also got to see just how important it then became to so many people. It was a phenomenon, like it literally was a ripple effect. So not only was there that going on, and then there's a conversation of a second movie, like the idea of being in a second movie was then basically like the best gift ever, because we knew what we were walking into, and we knew that it was very, very special that we were able to walk into it. I watched the first movie, and I remember chatting to my team and just gassing about it. It was just like, I hadn't seen anything like it for such a long time. And basically all of us were pleading that if there was ever anything to do with the second, could I be a part of it? And then I had a wonderful coffee with Denis when I was in LA. And then the rest kind of followed. And then I was able to go and be a part of this world, which is still crazy. Like, to be a part of this press tour, it doesn't really feel real. It feels like a gift. It feels like we've been given this unique opportunity to go to, like, I don't know, I've said it before in press, but like adult Disneyland. It's like, not only did we get to go to set, but we're now like in it and talking about it. And it truly is such a special feeling being a part of something that will mean a lot for a very, very long time to a lot of people for a very, very long time. So yeah, I think I'm just like soaking all of this up and making sure I'm awake and I'm remembering it all. And it's really pretty fucking cool, actually.
Yeah, it is. And Austin?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way as what Florence was just saying, that the gift of being able to see the first film. And I've been a fan of every one of Denis' films beforehand. And then to see Dune and know the scale and the texture and the feeling of it and the intensity and the beauty. It was one of those things that I thought if I ever got a chance to be in something like that, I would do anything to be a part of that. And then our wonderful casting director, Francine Maisler, connected us. And so Denis and I had coffee and we just talked for hours. And coffee seems to be, that's the trick.
A good way to get a job.
I'm a cheap date. They buy a coffee. I'm all right. You get a part.
Yes, we had a glorious coffee. And then we started going on the journey together. And this was such a fun character to get to dig into. Maybe the most fun I've ever had, because there's so much possibility. And so, yeah, we had a blast. I feel endlessly grateful.
And Austin, you clearly had an incredible transformation. So could you please elaborate about playing this antagonist?
Yeah. Our first conversation, we started talking about, one thing I remember you saying to me was Denis' vision was to have Fade being physically imposing in some way. And so I knew that there was going to be a lot of training involved, and then that changes the way that you walk, and it changes the way that you feel in your body. And when you have more weight on you, you feel different. You feel more rooted to the ground, and so that was the start. And then it was figuring out how he fights, and so working with our wonderful stunt team and with our Kali instructor in Los Angeles to do knife training, and that became another one of the keys in. And then it was really just finding how my fear was to end up playing a caricature in some way, and so to find the childhood that leads to somebody becoming like Fade, the brutality that he grew up in, that violence being power, and having somebody like the Baron as your ultimate view of power, what that does, what you end up soaking in. And so then that changed, what I did vocally with it and that sort of thing. So you just find all those little keys in, and then we get on set and we just play, and it was so much fun.
It was impressive, I gotta say. And Florence, what can you tell us about your character without spoilers?
Tell us everything.
Tell you everything. Well, I play Princess Irulan, who is the fantastic Christopher Walken's daughter. He plays the Emperor. I'm not actually his daughter, just in case. I think something that I really, really loved about her is I don't think I've ever played a character as quiet as her before. I'm usually really grabbing hold of someone that is feisty and opinionated and loud and bullshit, and I think probably for the first time I'm playing someone that is unbelievably calculated, and you're not quite sure what's going on in her head at any given time. And I loved reading that in the script. I loved the way that it watched her watching. Like, you were never quite sure what she was clocking onto, what she was listening to, what she was taking note of, until the final scene, when you realize that actually she's probably been aware for a long time. She's an exciting role because I know that it ends on a ... And I think for any actor, having a character that only kind of breathes potential of what's to come next is the most thrilling thing, especially when you're in a cast like this. Zendaya and I have been talking for the last week about how excited we are to see what happens, and how we'd love to be a fly on the wall to see what happens between them. So yeah, I think for me, I kind of had the perfect bit where I came in for a month and then I got out. So I got to absorb everything. I got to watch everyone that I love. I got to be around this cast that I've admired for such a long time. And then I don't know what happens next. So yeah, it was a real pleasure, and a real pleasure playing someone like Princess Irulan.
Thank you, guys. It's amazing to have you here in Mexico City, but also in the movie. And Denis, Maca Reynolds from La Cosa Cine, Argentina, asked, this movie is bigger than the previous one when it comes to action sequences. How did you manage to accomplish this epic scale production?
Man, the thing is that my team and I wanted the movie to come in the world as soon as possible, because it's not a sequel, it's really the second part of the story. And the beauty of that, it was the first time that I was going back to a world. The beauty of it is that all the research and development, all the R&D, all the design, I mean, Patrice Vermette had already started, as we were doing part one, he had already started the development of the look of the movie. We were like, we had like we knew a lot, but this movie was definitely much more ambitious. There's much more action into it. Much more complexity, as Monsieur pointed out, and yeah, it was like a challenge of every day. It was by far the most complex movie I ever made technically. I was not alone, of course. I had the help of a fantastic team, but it was by far the most challenging.
Yeah, thank you. Much more sun too, extras, details. And Josh, I have a really good question.
Can I read the question first? Okay.
First, this is from Hugo Corona, de Jordi en Exa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Timothy. No. Most characters in the film are driven by love and power, but a soldier like your character can't have either. So what drives him?
What drives him, love or power?
Again. Most characters in the film are driven by love or power, but a soldier like your character can't have either. So what drives him?
Money? I don't know. He can't have love or power? Why not? He has a love for Paul.
Ask Hugo.
Yeah, Hugo. Where are you? I don't think that that's true. I think that he does have access to love, and the love that he feels for Paul is, yes, paternal, and yes, a mentorship, but very, very, very strong. And Denis, we were doing that scene. You guys have seen the movie, right? That's okay, good. So we were doing that scene where he pops out of the sand, where Paul pops out of the sand, and Gurney sees Paul for the first time. And I had done it, you know, in whatever way I was doing it, you know, whatever gruff way I was doing it. And Denis said, was irritated, which he usually is with me, Denis, and said, where's the vulnerability? Like, where's the vulnerability? And I remember we did one take, and it truly felt vulnerable, and that's the take that he used. And I love that take so much because I see the love in that take. So, yeah. And then power. Yeah, he has a lot of power, man.
Yeah.
You know, physical power, not spiritual power, but physical power. I don't want to answer Hugo's question.
Te queremos, Hugo. No sé dónde estás, pero te queremos. Well, I have another one for you. I hope you like it because it's my question. Okay, so Paul Atreides is the leader of the Fremen, but Denis Villeneuve was the leader on set. So how would you describe Denis as the leader of such a mind-blowing and breathtaking film? You like my question?
I do very much.
Yay!
So, I mean, didn't I just...
Do you want me to get out of the room?
I do, actually. Can you turn your chair around like I did? Like I had to? There's very few... Oh, man. I'll start crying if I do this. Oh, stop, man. There's very few filmmakers that show up when you have a love of film like I have. When you grow up and film is your friend, film is your teacher, film is your mentor. And then a director comes by once in a while. My father, mistakenly, as a horrible parent, took me at 11 years old to see Apocalypse Now, and it changed my life. He didn't know it was going to change my life. I think he was trying to destroy me at the time, but it changed my life. There's certain movies that you see, and then to actually be a part of that process with great directors, and directors that can do intimacy along with scope is very, very, very rare. So there was nothing about this process of making Dune that didn't feel intimate. And that takes a very special person that I think Denis is very, very much. He's totally socially inept. He will have no idea what to say to you during coffee. But man, can he direct a fucking film, huh?
Thank you, Jim. You're sweet. I love you, Josh Brolin.
Thank you, Josh. I'm happy you like my question.
Now leave me alone.
And Zendaya, we have another question from Andrés Hoyos del Tiempo, Colombia. In this movie, there is a clearer idea of Chani's conflict between her ideals and love, which is a very important element of this film. Can you tell us a little bit more about this contrast?
Yeah, I think, again, I think not to repeat what I said earlier, but it does, I mean, it makes it harder, you know? I don't think that she she looks at Paul and then thinks that this is someone that she can allow into her life, and somehow he finds a way in. And I think that what I do appreciate to what, you know, Josh was just talking about is there is a way that Denis, amongst all the glorious scope of the movie and the epicness, found these tender human moments that oftentimes were just done in what he calls glance passes, which, you know, is just like, hey, just look at each other. Just look at each other from across the room, and that might be enough. And there are, you know, all the moments between the moments where they're not saying anything at all, that helped us to build something strong. And I think we all felt like we had to earn this love story too. It wasn't something that was handed to us either, you know. And so along with them fighting for it, we had to fight for it too. And yeah, I think it's an incredible, for her to trust it all is one thing, and when she does, we'll see. Well, I can't really say what happens, but there's it's heavy. Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
So they're telling me we have one last question. Let's have a soft one from Hugo. You all have a great energy together. Can you share with us a behind-the-scenes memory, maybe a fun story from set? It was very sandy.
Austin, you got a great one.
Yeah,
Austin,
you have
you got
one,
a great
guys. You go, Timothy.
Oh, fair enough.
You're blushing,
Fair enough.
so
I
you
got
have
it.
one.
I got it. I mean, it's just, I can't tell the full story. I mean, there was, the schedule had it so there were a few nights that Austin, Zendaya, Florence, and I were actually together in Budapest, but there was one night they were actually all together. So we all went out to a Japanese restaurant together. We all kind of got to know each other, and I can't tell. I can't tell the rest of the story, man. I just think it's gonna get lost. Darnell, do you want to tell the rest of the story? No. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's the worst story ever. I apologize. But
We love it. We love it.
We had a nice dinner
it was
together.
a nice dinner.
Yeah.
There was a good moment between Florence and Austin, but anyway, I'll let them tell it if they want. But.
Come on, Austin.
Florence has
Yeah.
a great story.
No, I can't. I'll get chucked off the stage.
Okay.
Anyway, point is we just like each other, and that's all
Yeah.
you need to know. We just
We
like
don't
each
need
other. We had
story.
a great time. We love working with each other, and we'll keep our stories to ourselves.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I gotta say, we are very excited for the Mexican and Latinos audiences who are watching the film tomorrow in the fan event. You're gonna have a lot of fun too. So congratulations for the movie. And todos recuerden que se estrena el 29 de febrero. And you have to watch it on the biggest
Who is Hugo?
screen
Is he here?
ever.
Is Hugo
Hugo is here.
Where is he?
Hugo?
Hugo is here.
He's
Never mind.
virtual. He's on Zoom. Bye, Hugo. And remember to watch Dune Part 2 in the biggest screen you can, guys. So spread the word. I don't know if you want to say something, Denis, for the fans here in Mexico.
Quickly, it's just that we made the second film just for the fans here. If ever they haven't seen the first movie, we did the second movie thinking about them. At the beginning of the movie, there's like a little, all the information we need to know. So we don't, it's better to have seen the first film, but if you have not seen it, you can still enjoy the part 2. That's what I will say. And I will say in the name of all of us, even Josh, that honestly, we are very proud to be here. Thank you for welcoming us.
Thank you, guys. Do anyone else wants to add something? Maybe something the audience has to know about Dune Part 2? No?
I don't know. I think this movie's meant to be seen on the big screen. I think Denis could say it better, but this is a movie that shakes the theater, and we could not be more grateful to be here where the first movie got a lot of love. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.